Geometry Dash game modes have evolved, once being as simple as jumping over spikes, but now... Anyway, make sure you stick around until the end of the video, since there are some crazy custom game modes and stories that you may not have heard of. So, our journey begins in Update 1.0. This update introduced two new game modes, the default cube mode and the ship. However, an interesting fact is that the ship originally only used one player color. In fact, you can still see this today in the game's official artwork. It seems RobTop has more than just the game to update. This update also introduced the first instance of the UFO game mode. The real Darnock, who is commonly regarded as Geometry Dash's first ever creator, having the first ever rated level in the game, made this level. It is very likely that this level inspired the UFO that would come a whole 4 updates later. Update 1.1 did not introduce any new game modes per se, but rather the mirror portal, something that RobTop has seemingly abandoned in 2.2. While definitely disorienting for players at the time, probably because of this, the community has definitely gotten bored of it, with most new levels not even bothering to use it. If you want to call blinding the player a custom game mode, then I guess that was invented in this update, but I think we would all like to actually see the level we are playing. Update 1.2 introduced the ball game mode, with it being the first game mode with the ability to change the player's gravity. It also features more closed borders, being only 8 blocks tall, compared to the 10 blocks that the ship game mode is. The ball game mode so far did not have that much potential for new custom game modes, basically only being able to recreate the UFO. While that had already been done in 1.0 with the cube, when using the ball, I found it had much better physics, making it more fun to play. While introducing lots of new blocks and decorations, 1.3 did not bring any new game modes. However, it did bring us a new jump ring and jump pad. Using the new ring, we can create the first instance of the swing copter. The same can even be applied to the ship, creating something resembling the wave but with very wonky controls. Update 1.4 introduced the size portals, allowing you to make your icon smaller. Yeah, that is pretty much it, except for the drama it caused. When the mini mode was added, some people noticed that gravity seemed to be stronger, specifically as the mini ship, affecting the physics. Many players noted that it was a hard game mode to master, making it probable that this could have very well been the new hardest game mode. In fact, many players still reported their difficulties with this game mode numerous updates after it was released. Finally, after months since it was first theorized, the UFO mode is here, or by its official name, the Bird. Along with it came the hundreds of Flappy Bird levels, and I mean hundreds. Also, the UFO in combination with blue orbs would be used as the new current wave prototype, as it controlled much better than the ship. While not introducing any new game modes, 1.6 added these breakable blocks, which can be used to create some wild custom game modes. For example, we can make a UFO that can only go up until its gravity is switched, and this mess. 1.7 introduced speed portals, which make you go fast. Look, why am I even explaining this? This allowed for previous game modes to be much harder to control. Since this required players to adjust to a bunch of new speeds, they had to gain new muscle memory. This made the 3x speed portal the new hardest game mode in the game. So much so, levels like To the Stars were commonly thought of as one of the new hardest levels, but nowadays, it isn't even an insane demon. So, throw everything you think you know about wacky custom game mode physics out the window, since 1.8's dual mode slope hybrid is a nightmare, combining the two most buggiest features in the game together. Want to make it even more annoying? Make the level 2 player, since we all know Geometry Dash players don't have any friends. Anyway, one of the most famous 1.8 custom game modes uses the dual ball mixed with the blue jump orb, creating what is still used to this day as a swing copter. You can even throw in some blue jump pads to get this cool effect. Also, don't forget about asymmetrical duels. The wave is still considered one of the hardest game modes to master, so much so that some of the most famous top 1 extreme demons are literally 9 circles levels, which focus specifically on the wave. What is even more interesting, however, is what happens when you combine the wave with the mini portal. You can practically create a whole new game mode doing that, as this thing is pretty much impossible to control for a casual player such as myself. And why not make it even harder by tossing a yellow gravity portal into the mix? 2.0 introduced the robot, which is basically just a cube but with higher jumping capabilities. However, where this update really shines is with the potential for custom game modes, thanks to the introduction of real triggers such as Move and Alpha. One famous new game mode idea uses the dual mode, where every time you click, the level changes, usually with certain objects being toggled on and off. You can make this more variable by just taking the 2-player mode button. Another interesting thing 2.0 introduced was non-linear levels, where basically you lock the level to the player and move it in ways that make it look like the player is going in directions it could never normally go. So many new custom game modes were created in this update that there's no way we can go over all of them in this video. However, 2.1 introduced even more. While the spider is interesting on its own, where 2.1 really shines is with its more advanced triggers, allowing for more custom game mode potential. Agent JDN is a creator who created numerous levels featuring custom game modes early in the update, including a better swing copter prototype, using gravity portals that toggle on every click. Some other popular custom game modes are the train, springboard, and look, the point is, custom game mode possibilities basically became endless. Like, seriously, Sir Punch even managed to create a top-down Zelda-like custom game mode. Players even managed to recreate the 2.2 platformer mode, and it actually has surprisingly good physics. Like, seriously, I can play like this no problem. Speaking of the 2.2 platformer mode, that alone has a lot of potential for custom game modes, because it adds a new input option to the game, meaning we can now have 3 sources of input, rather than the 2 that the game currently supports. Also, we can't forget about the official Swingcopter game mode. While the dual mode Swingcopter prototype has alright physics compared to other options, the official game mode by far plays the best. Now for the Jetpack, which is a lesser known new game mode probably because it is literally just the ship game mode retextured. Nevertheless, it has a really cool design. Remember how I said that the platformer mode has more input options? Well, some creators have already tested that out, creating a full-on combat system where you can actually attack enemies. Okay, but these are all features we currently have access to through mods. However, there are some features that were previewed in the sneak peek that we do not yet have the option to experiment with. While I would not consider gravity portals to be a completely unique game mode, the new 2.2 gravity controls are definitely a worthy contestant. Just look at this! Also, while briefly mentioned before, the 2.2 reverse trigger makes the mirror game mode kind of pointless. While they do 2 completely different things, one reversing the player and one flipping the screen, they probably won't work well in unison. But I mean, that probably won't stop the community from doing that anyway. Now we have to look towards the future. There are so many possibilities for the official 2.3 game mode, although there are even more possibilities for the player-made custom game modes. With new triggers and even more possibilities coming in future updates, the truth is, the community will probably create their own game modes to further rival the official ones. The community has already outdone RobTop in many ways in the editor. Whether it be incredible decoration or other revolutionary creations, game modes are just the next logical step for the community to expand in. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you like this video, as it means a lot for small YouTubers such as myself. I hope you have a fantastic day, as always.